Hello guys, welcome back. Now in this tutorial, we are going to see how to insert new student records into Salesforce. So currently inside of our Salesforce, we have two student records, which is the student 1 and student 2. And now what we're going to do is from this postman, we are going to insert new student records. So how we will do that, we will create a new request here. It's going to be of the type post because we are trying to insert. And then the next thing is this is going to be the server URL. So let's just go ahead and copy this server URL and paste it over here. And then the next thing would be setting up the headers. So the headers would be SOAP action, which is going to be an empty string. And then the next thing would be the content type. And that is going to be text and XML because that's the only thing that we can send via the SOAP. And then in the body, we are going to choose raw XML. And here I'm going to copy this body here and then paste it. So the session ID would be the one that I retrieved from my previous call here, and still I haven't updated. So this session ID, I'm going to paste it over here. And what is this MRU header? So this MRU header is if you want to insert this record under the recently viewed records. So I've set this most recently used to false. So what will happen is the recently viewed, if you try to see that record will not get added here. It will, if you have to go to this view all and then you will see that record. But if you are in the recently viewed, then you will not see the newly created record. So we are going back to the postman here and we have set up this value to false. Now inside the body, now we are creating a new student record. So here we are going to say, we are going to create. So this is going to be our create and then close it with the same URN create. And what are we trying to create? What kind of object are we trying to create? So we have to specify that. So here I'm going to say the S objects that I'm going to create is of the type student. So here I'm going to say the type is, you have to say type is equals to URN1 and then colon student __ C. So this is going to be the student object I'm trying to insert. Now what are the fields for the student object? So you have to specify all those fields here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this tag here, URN S objects tag. And then what is the field information? What are all the information? So I'm going to set up the student name __ C. This is one of the fields. If you go to Salesforce, you will see here student name is one field. So let's just go ahead and copy this and we'll paste it over here. So let's say the student that I want to add would be Deepika Khanna. This is going to be the student. And then here is going to be the closing. What are the other field I want to add? So let's say I wanted to add the phone number. So let's just copy the phone number field and then go back to postman. And here I'm going to enter the phone number. So let's say 345-678-9090 is going to be the phone number. And I'm going to add the phone number now. And let's say I also wanted to add the address. So the address, we can call it as __ C. This is the field. And I live in McKinney, Texas. This is going to be the address. And then here I'm going to say address __ C. Now let's say I wanted to set up the school for this as well. So here what I'll do is I'm going to specify the ID of the school. So let's say we wanted to find out what's the ID. So I'll go to this school here and we'll select the McKinney High School, and this is going to be the ID of the school, and this is the ID that I will use for this school. And then I'm going to just close this. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to insert a new student record, here. So now let's go ahead and I've provided all this information. I've set up my phone number and then I've given my address, school, etc. And now let's go back here and we are under the recently viewed. And if you remember, this header, I have set it up to false. So now let's go ahead and hit the send button. And you can see here the response of this is 200, which is good. And then you will see here the record ID has been returned, which means that the new student record has been created. So now if I go back, I do not see it. Let me refresh it. I still do not see that. The reason is because of you have not added that new record to this recently viewed, because you have set the header to false. Now let's go back here and go to alls, and you will see the new student record is available under this list, and it has Deepika Khanna as the student name. This is the phone number, this is the address, and automatically this is the school. So this is how you insert a new student record. So let's go ahead and save this, and I'm going to call this as insert new student record, okay, with MRU set to false. Okay, the header is set to false, and we're going to store it inside of this collection. That's it. Now we are going to make another call, and we are going to set up this MRU to true, and let's see what happens. So this is going to be the same exact thing. I'm going to go ahead and make this post request here, and the header would be the same SOAP action. This is going to be the header. It's going to be an empty string, and then the next one is the content type, and this is going to be text XML. And then I'm going to select the body. The body would be raw XML, and let's go ahead and copy this whole thing and paste it over here. And instead of MRU header to set to false, I'm going to set this value to true, which means that this record that I'm trying to insert will automatically be added to the recently viewed list. Now here I'm going to put the student name as, let's say we give it as Sim Alok. His phone number is 456-789-000. This is phone number. He lives in McKinney as well, and he belongs to the same school. And now here I'm also going to provide the other field, which is the class enrolled. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to this, and I'm going to say he is in the 7th grade, and then I'm going to close this tag, and then let's hit the send button. Now you can see the response came back good, and now it comes back with the ID of that record. Now if I go back here to the student, automatically under the recently viewed, I have this new student got added, and then you can see here the name of the student is this. This is the phone number. He's enrolled in this class and he belongs to this school, and this is his address. So this is how you can insert new records into Salesforce. And one more thing, I will just go ahead and save this request here, and I will call this as insert new student records, and with MRU true. This is going to be the header has been set to true, and then hit the save button. That's it. This is how you insert new records into Salesforce using the SOAP API. So what you have to do here is you are choosing what is the object I'm trying to insert and what is the different field values I want to provide. So you provide all those field values, you select which object you're trying to insert. And the most important thing is you have to provide the valid session ID. And then once you have provided all this information, go ahead and hit the send button. And that way it will create the new record.